Captain's Log, episode 79. This week's episode of the Beer Vengers podcast is sponsored by the Beer and Cheese Collective, located at 35-11 Ditmars Boulevard in Astoria, Queens. Enjoy their eclectic array of craft beer, artisanal cheeses, and specialty grocery items at the Beer and Cheese Collective. The Beer Vengers is an unscripted podcast, except usually for this part right here. I try and put together a few words that are specific to the episode, maybe attempting to be witty, informative, merely perfunctory sometimes. In any case, it's something I write down. I'm not writing anything right now in support of the writers who are on strike, the Writers Guild of America. And I'm going to try and continue to do that until they get a good deal, because they deserve one. So if anyone you know is affected by the Writers Guild of America strike, you should support them. Go hang out with them on the picket line. Buy them a beer, because they probably need one right now. And not just writers, anyone who's affected by it, because this is shutting a lot of things down. And writers need to get a good deal. Remember to like, star, and subscribe whenever that feels appropriate. And send us your emails at thebeervengers@gmail.com if you have any questions, suggestions, or if you just like hearing us talk about you on the show. And now, without further ado, please enjoy episode 79, Dreaming of White Gummy Bears.
With a beer Vengers, beer Vengers, beer Vengers. With a beer Vengers, with a beer Vengers, beer Vengers, beer Vengers. With a beer Vengers.
Yeah. Welcome to the Beercast, everyone. Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Astoria, Queens, I am Captain Porter Brownstout.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in the little big city of Fresno, California, this is the Pale Male Hophead Huck.
And coming to you from an undisclosed location in the County of Kings, it is I, the Beer Wonder.
And we are the There we go. Yeah, that's
it's like some choral, like tonal, like Gregorian chant situation.
Yeah,
amongst their beers, you know.
I think Philip Glass needs to watch his back. Yeah.
Agreed. Very much agreed.
All right. Ira is part of another thing. We don't need to talk about Ira, but yeah, no. Philip. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for being here. Beer Vengers out there. Beer Vengers in here, because we are all Beer Vengers. Good to be back here again, the three of us. With some beers and talking and whatever else happens to come up.
Beers and talking. That's really what this show is, isn't it?
It is. That was our alternate title at one point, but I think someone already had it. I'm not sure.
Rude.
Chances are.
The shirts wouldn't have worked quite as well. It's just like the logo wouldn't be great. It would just like be a beer and like a mouth.
Yeah. And then you don't know. Is it because, well, I guess maybe drinking and talking.
Ah, there you go.
It could be like the beer coming out of the glass and it pours over the microphone and drips into the mouth.
Oh.
Now, and any beer Vengers out there who want to start your own podcast with any of these ideas, feel free. Yeah, we will support
all
you.
Free stuff.
Just Absolutely. Make sure you tag us on Instagram at the Beer Vengers, because
it's all the public domain in the Beer Vengerverse.
Exactly. Speaking of public domain, my public is dry and I need some beer. That was a horrible transition, guys. I just want to open my beer. I'm really excited about it.
Well, we know this episode will not be called Crushing the Segways 2.
Exactly.
Let's get to it, my friend.
I think
show us what you got.
It's the only polite thing to do, really.
It would only be polite. Well, friends, this is going to shock everyone, because for maybe the first time ever on this Beercast, I will be drinking a
sponsored pour
a sponsored pour from the Beer and Cheese Collective at 35-11 Ditmars Boulevard in Astoria, Queens.
I mean, yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm glad we
the
cleared
one.
that up. I know. Shocking. Everyone is shocked. Well, so here's the
We
thing.
have other
It
sponsors
is-
occasionally, so it's good to specify and clarify.
It is good to be clear. I've got something from Tox Brewing Company. They're from Connecticut.
Ooh.
And it is the EFT IPA, which is a nice IPA made with Nelson hops. And I looked it up. The EFT is actually an amphibious newt.
Yes.
Aha.
They show up on
And-
crossword puzzles periodically.
Yeah, and he's here because Tox has got like this little this poison dart frog as like their little logo, and so their
Right.
poison dart
I've
frog
seen
shows
that
up.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got his little EFT friend right next to him. So
Aw.
and they have a ladybug in between them, which honestly I'm just confused. Like
That's lunch.
probably that makes sense. But I think the can is adorable because like check that, so cute.
Yeah,
Right.
they do fantastic can art.
Yeah,
It's
real
like a
beautiful.
Mayan temple. What's the style again? It's an
Yeah.
IPA.
It's an IPA. It's an India Pale Ale dry hopped with Nelson hops.
Okay.
So 7% alcohol, full pint. Let's check this bad boy out.
Yeah.
'Cause the
yeah.
Mayans were big on Nelson hops, as I recall from the history books. Okay. Oh, look at the haze. Look at
Oh, very
I
that.
know.
hazy. Yeah.
I know
This is
it's
like
a juicy one.
Straight up grapefruit juice.
And it smells like grapefruit juice. I can already
Really?
smell it from here. Yep.
Even pouring out of the can, it's just super
Really
Uh,
nice. Yeah.
thick
Yeah,
and
that's,
lustrous.
That's a real winner right there. Very
good.
exciting. I know.
Wow, that is a winner.
Can't wait. All right, gentlemen, do your thing.
Oh gosh. Well, Cap, you want me to go?
I know. See, I didn't.
go ahead.
I was confused. You said cat when you said me. I thought you were telling me to go, and then you're asking me. I don't know.
Yeah, go
So-
ahead.
All right, I'll
I'm
go
good.
ahead. I also have a.
Sponsored pour.
That's right, sponsored pour. Same place, Beer and Cheese Collective. Go there, have wonderful beers, such as this one, which is
Oh.
from a collaboration between a brewery called Esker Hart and Alternate Ending, which is a brewery
Oh.
I've actually visited
okay.
along the Jersey Shore there. And this is a Baltic porter called Stampede Trail.
Oh my.
Oh, love me some good Baltic porters.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I love the can too. It's got this like film noir feel to it. Is it I can't tell if those are buildings or if they're trees. It
Those
looks
are
like trees,
trees,
yeah.
and there's
Okay.
like sort of a
Camper
little
there.
like a little camper there, like they're off
Mm.
somewhere in the wilderness.
Mhm.
All of their
Trail.
all of their beers are fairly cinematic because the actual location of the brewery is at a former movie theater.
Oh, how cool.
I'll talk more about that, but I'm too thirsty to go into greater detail at this point. Here
I
we
know.
go.
I know. You should pour that thing. And as expected, it is pouring thick and brown and dark. Oh my god, that is some excellent head production right there.
Really
Very
is.
creamy.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Got that
Yep.
real caramel head going.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's the goods right there.
Pretty. Well, we got some pretty beers here.
I know.
I'm hoping to add to that today because I'm not. I know I like to bring new beers into the to the fray to the.
We count on that. Yeah.
Yeah,
fam,
we're.
but today I'm doing a repeat because I love Smog City, and this is
Oh yeah.
the Smog City 12th anniversary double
Oh.
IPA. And I love anniversary beers. I don't know,
Yeah.
something about them. They're usually really made with a lot of care. And the ones I've had lately, like I had a Crow and Wolf second anniversary beer, which was
Okay.
a hazy IPA, which was delicious. And I don't really even dig hazies that much anymore. And but this is a double IPA from our friends at Smog City. Congratulations on 12 years
Amazing.
in Torrance, California, Los Angeles, essentially. And it's got a nice left-handed pour for me to do.
Of
here.
course
look
it
at that.
does. Look at that.
Oh,
How delightful.
and it's got more of a West Coast look to it. A clear.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
clear.
It's about 8% double IPA here. Put it in our special Finback glass. There we go.
Oh yeah. It's limited edition, that one.
A pretty angel on there.
She is so pretty. Gosh, that at 12th anniversary, you said?
12th anniversary. Yeah.
Wow. Well done, Smog City.
Yep. So they started
Absolutely.
2011. Yeah, around the same time as Single Cut, our recent guests.
Yeah.
That's right. A lot of anniversaries coming up these days. All right, but
That is
we can
very
get
true.
into that. But first of all, gentlemen, cheers, Beer Avengers.
Cheers.
Slancha.
Mm.
Salut. Slant. What do they say? Slante? France?
Slancha. Oh, I mean, if you're going Irish, it would be Slancha.
I'm teaching myself French. It's santé. Santé.
Santé.
Okay,
Santé.
so Santé.
Mm.
Nice.
I've been I've been pretending to be French for nearly 20 years, and I should know that by now.
Santé. Well, you're not usually drinking on the job over there.
That's true. Just coffee and water. Gotta stay hydrated.
Well,
But
you do have to stay hydrated. It's
yeah.
very important. Well, it is literally grapefruit juice.
It
Like,
is. Okay.
I do not know what else to say except that I am drinking a glass of delicious grapefruit juice. I mean, it's pretty spectacular. Most of the things that I see it written up as call it an American IPA. Sure. It definitely feels very much New England. It real
It
like
looks it too.
I mean, it's about like when you think juicy IPA, like they talk about orange juice. This is just grapefruit juice in a can. It's fantastic. I would drink this every day, all day, perpetually, probably with my frog and ladybug friend on a log while staring at a Mayan pyramid, because that really does feel like the right vibe right now.
It's what you do.
Absolutely.
It is what you do. It's the important things. So, cheers. Oh, so good.
Cheers. Yeah, we actually had a Tox brew from a year or two ago. I can't remember which one it was, but if you look into our archives, special bonus Beer Venger bucks to anyone out there who can
I
reach
can
out to us
picture
and
one
tell
in
us what it is.
my fridge in New York.
Yeah, it might have been also at one of your
That little frog.
Yeah.
But just like I'm pretty sure I had one. I'm sure I had a sponsored pour of that on here. Some kind of high ABV stout, maybe. I know that's
maybe
wildly out of character for me.
Quite possible.
Shocking with you, Captain. We never know what to expect. We coming out of your stuff.
Well, I got to say, this anniversary beer really lives up to the what an anniversary beer should be. It's complex. Yeah. You get flavors up front. You get mouthfeel. You get flavors in the finish. It's like really giving me a lot. It's giving me old school vibes, like 11 years ago, 12 years ago kind of vibes, where it's real West Coast hoppiness, but with a very smooth finish. Like I'm not getting booziness at all. It's 8%, 8.3%, and just very smooth finish. And I got more to say about it. I got to keep sipping it though.
Keep sipping it.
Yeah, I was really glad to get this one because I would say Baltic Porter is one of my favorite styles that I don't see enough of. And so that was really anytime I see that, the funny thing about this particular beer is I was at the Beer and Cheese Collective on a Saturday night, and the provider was not there, and I took this and another beer home with me. And then the next day I went in for the sponsored pours, and those are the exact ones she gave me. So this is I can speak with a great authority that not only was I gifted with this beer, but I've also bought it because it's that good and really, really fantastic. Nice, deep, rich, chocolatey, dark tones to it. It's really fantastic.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
This beer really reminds me of going to Pony Bar in the old days, where we would get the Stone double IPAs or the double Jack and just be like, how is it so piney?
Yep.
But there's a real smoothness to this. Now there is a description here on the can, which I find delightful. This 12th anniversary double IPA is as big, bold, and beautiful as Smog City and the 12 incredible years we spent brewing for our amazing community. Crafted with Citra, Centennial, and Strata hops.
Oh, yum.
12th anniversary double IPA shines with bright citrus, ripe tropical fruit, and white gummy bears, of course.
Oh, sure.
For a punchy and delicious drinking experience, join us in raising a glass to community quality and innovation as we look forward to 12 more years and beyond. Yeah, and another cute little item here on the can. It's the barcode is.
Oh, that's cute.
It's got a little LA skyline. I
city.
assume it's LA.
Well, that's the Smog City.
I don't know what the LA skyline looks like, but there it is. I guess.
Usually, I think of the LA skyline as having mountains behind it, so I guess maybe that's what the barcode is.
There's other little things on here. There's the little. Well, we have the angel, right? And then there's like she's got hops. Wait, is she an angel? She's a bird.
Well, that's kind of like an angel. They both fly.
She's an angel and a bird made out of hops. You can see the legs there.
Oh, I see.
I guess
angels.
Vine.
I guess angels wouldn't really.
No, she's standing on her own tail.
Feet.
She's standing on her own tail. Look at that.
And there's like a celestial stuff behind her, right?
Celestial kitty.
It's a cat, yeah.
Celestial glass. And celestial
hops. Okay. And
celestial, a little a glass.
Yeah.
And a little right
constellation
triangle
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, all those probably have
the right
significance
triangle
to
looks like it's supposed to be like a constellation.
Smog City. But yeah, this is a great can art. That's almost one to like. And then there's the book of the history of the book. So
With
that's
written in the stars.
That's almost one to like put on the wall, kind of
Yeah.
sticker. You just peel it off. If I did that, I don't think that that would maybe not be appreciated if I
Put it on the wall.
stickers on things around the house.
Yeah.
Maybe the garage.
That's what the back of my laptop is for. That's where
I did want to.
Yeah.
I did want to circle back slightly though. White gummy bear.
Thank you. I was
very
actually wanted
specific.
to get in there as well. Yeah.
What do you have? This is a question to the Beer Ventureverse. Do you have preferred colors of gummy bear? Like, is that something that people have that I am not aware of and I'm just learning about at this moment?
Well, I think it's one of the gummies. I guess probably is like a clear one or.
Well, yes, there is like a clear gummy bear, but like, does it have a different flavor from like the orange one?
I think they're all
or the green one.
I'm not a big candy eater. Like I like chocolate, but I don't eat a lot of like candy like that. But I definitely get that. Once it's suggested to me, I'm like, oh yeah, I get that.
It's become very popular among beer purists to mock ridiculous adjuncts. But I think this is a perfect example of how you have to be open-minded, or as I was mentioning when we were talking before we pressed record, got to be good giving and game about the whole thing.
Yeah, that's very true.
Because what it really comes down to is like, okay, I don't think white gummy bears. I'm not really aching for a double IPA made from white gummy bears, but sure, I'll try it. And it turns out that it's wonderful.
To be clear, there's no gummy bears in the mix.
Oh, there aren't. Okay.
It's just a
flavor description.
It tastes like white gummy bears. That makes more sense.
Ripe citrus, ripe tropical fruit, and white gummy bears.
Which still begs my question: do the gummy bears have different flavors? And have I been doing this wrong for years?
I guess. I mean, I've seen descriptions. Grimm Brewing is big on describing gummy worms as a flavor. Or you hear bubblegum described. But it's very specific, white gummy bears.
Like, I understand gummy worms as a flavor. Like, I get what that tastes like. But I didn't realize that, like, the red one is different than the blue one. Like, are they? It's like one of the... My mind has been blown and not about beer, and I'm, like, mildly excited and also slightly concerned.
Well, at the end of the day, this is a killer beer, and I love Smog City. I'm glad we were able to get them up here in Fresno, because they're a really good brewery.
I'm going to say I don't have the patience to know what the flavor of gummy bears tastes like, because it just takes so fucking long to chew them.
Yeah.
And then the flavor's gone and you still have this like weird husk of something in your mouth. And yeah, I mean, I only like THC gummies that are more like gumdrops that have that consistency. The ones that are like gummies, like, okay, I guess I have to chew this whole thing. But like the ones that are, the one I'm particularly fond of right now are California honey gummies.
Weren't we supposed to do a weed episode at some point? Were we gonna? Was that a discussion, or did I dream that?
I mean, we could. I think
white gummies.
Yeah, I mean, white gummies. Yeah, maybe you were dreaming of white gummies.
Maybe that's the flavor that they're going for. That's where the flavoring comes in. Okay, so this is this is where I don't. This is again where my knowledge ends, and others will be more expert than I am.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some beers that are including that in them these days, and like some of them are. I mean, the Beer and Cheese Collective has been having these sort of like sparkling THC sodas that are like
there's a lot of those
like 10 milligrams in it.
Like over at Goldstein's, where I go to the bar, they have they say they have 40 something taps. 5 of them are CBD drinks.
Of course,
they're like first 5 taps are like that's like their non-alcoholic drink.
I heard a story once about the problem with something that has either CBD or even more specifically THC in it, or cannabis, is that it is a flavor that's very hard to get out of a tap. So if you have a bar and you're going to start using one tap with something that has that as an ingredient, that should probably be a dedicated tap for that style of beer.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that's what they do. They dedicate those taps to those types of drinks. Interesting. Goldstein's, shout out to them. I've enjoyed good beers over there. Of late, had a really good dark beer over there. What the heck did I have? It was my fourth beer of the night, so it's going to elude me. But I did do another beer sign on
Oh,
art
yeah.
night last week.
Mm.
Tuesday night is art night at Goldstein's, and they haven't had beer signs. But I went in. I'm like, are there beer signs? Like, yeah, we're going to do some beer signs. So I did a local one, south of Shaw Brewing. It was a wheat beer, which I'm not like a big wheat beer guy, but it was called Summer Wheat. So I drew a big sun, and I did like a tiny version of their logo. It turned out pretty well. I was pretty happy with it. No bird this time.
Beer Wonder,
It's
I do think
unfortunate.
it's really interesting that your beer it's clearly a hazy, but they call it an American IPA. Had a long discussion with Brian, or as he's known here on this show, the original Bitter Kid.
OBK.
Yes, because the past month,
That's an American IPA there. Yeah.
That is definitely an American IPA. What you're drinking is 100% an American IPA. Mine is a hazy boy through and
if you're,
through. But anyway,
if
continue.
If you're curious to check out the formerly known as Brews Less Traveled podcast, which is now the City Brew Tours Beer Club podcast, I co-hosted it for the last month. Had a lot of great beers from Grand Rapids, Michigan. And last night I was having a beer that was listed as an American IPA, and I was just sort of having a discussion about how what differentiates that from, say, a West Coast IPA. And what we kind of basically came down to, because the BJCP apparently doesn't even have West Coast IPA listed. But it seems like an American IPA, generally speaking, what we sort of landed on was it is closer to a West Coast IPA than a New England IPA, but ultimately it's a lot less aggressively hopped. It has that hop profile, but it's not the punchy in the face kind.
It's kinder and gentler.
Yeah, a little creamy, a little like they're a little, like a little bit of haze, but not like as you said, the grapefruit juice
Yes.
Big thing there going on.
That's so much just happening right now. Honestly, at this point, my frogs are going to start moving real quick if I keep drinking more of this, because it's going down that easy.
That's a really great brewery. I'm glad we're able to feature them again. And as far as this one, I was talking about the alternate ending. Last summer, I went on a tour of the Jersey Shore breweries of the Jersey Shore, and that was the one where we stopped and had lunch. And they've got a really inventive way of putting together everything with their brewery. It's on the site, as I mentioned before, I think of a former movie theater.
Oh yeah.
And so the whole thing is set up with all sorts of like video screens with movies playing and memorabilia on the walls, and a lot of their beers have movie references. That's why the can here looks kind of like a movie poster. Had lunch there for that one. Had a nice little flight. It was really good. The other the collaborator they have here, the Esker Hart, I was just doing a little bit of research on them. They have primarily, it sounds like, since they started a few years ago, been brewing out of 12%. So I'm assuming, since this is a collaboration with Alternate Ending, that this was actually brewed at Alternate Ending, but it's Esker Hart's recipe, possibly.
Oh, that makes sense.
I never know when things call themselves collaborations, where who does what and the various things. It's like, I mean, I'm sure there's no rhyme or reason. It's just like when you hear about the people who write the lyrics and the music for musicals. Sometimes they do it when they're working on every step of it together. Sometimes they do it entirely in different rooms, like Gilbert and Sullivan did.
Very true.
So I don't know which version of this one. I guess I've got to go back to the brewery and find out. But it's like a really great beer, a really nice brewery.
That's what matters.
Right on.
Well, we have got some good beers right now, but I'm curious, who's had some good beers out there in the far off world, the Beer Ventureverse?
Are you talking to us?
Yeah, well, because I know we've had a couple events that have happened.
It sounded like call in, let us know.
Well, if people wanted to do that, we could make that happen. But
I think we have caller one. Hey, caller, where are you calling from?
Well, I know that
we should hire some people to do that.
Oh my god, we would. Honestly, that'd be a good actor gig. Call in, talk about beer. I bet we could find people to do that.
Well, the closest we ever came to that was when we did that first year we were doing it New Year's Eve, and we did a live Facebook thing, and people were putting in live comments as we went on. So
yes,
we have got some good. I don't know about comments, but we've got some good reactions to our stories and beers on our gram.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Especially last week, the beers that we featured, all the breweries gave us shout outs.
Mm-hmm.
Not all, but a lot of them. Of course, with
That's
stories,
always
I can't
greatly
go back and
appreciated.
find them.
Yeah.
I was like, let me look up this story. No, it's gone, Mike. Oh, that's right. They don't
Yeah, I
anymore.
see. I see. You've been putting a lot of interesting stuff still on the old tickety talks.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
Huck,
I haven't done a TikTok lately. Let's see how that's doing.
what have you been social mediaing of late, and where have you been? Because among other things, I know Cider Girl recently had a birthday, which is always exciting.
Correct.
And
We
so that
had
usually leads to imbibing and quality control on behalf of the Beer Ventures.
well, we had Uncle Ed here, and so with Uncle Ed and his wife Rowan, lovely, lovely people.
Mhm.
I think they're wonderful, and her mom Jennifer were here, and we took them around town. And what we love to do is shop. Okay, so we had to go to Talbot's. But what was great, what's great is the Talbot's in town. I don't know if you know what Talbot's is.
Store.
It's a store that sells
clothes.
women's clothing. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
Okay.
no men's clothes in the store.
So you did you
It's
shop
kind
till
of a
you dropped?
masculine name, Talbot's. But they went to Talbot's, and Eddie and I went to the Out of the Barrel tap room, which is right next door to the Talbot's.
Perfect.
Which was perfect. Yeah, we had a couple of nice selections in there. Had some beers from Barrel House Brewing. They had an incredible Barrel House out of no, I'm not Barrel House. We did have some Barrel House, but I'm saying Bear Bottle.
Bear Bottle.
Bear
BARE.
bottle.
Which I meant to have a bear bottle on the show, and I don't think I did. I had a 4-pack of these Pilsners. I drank them all without running the show. Yeah, a really nice bear bottle Pilsner that was a hoppy West Coast Pilsner. It was like, wow, okay. Had that hoppiness while still being a light drinking beer. So that was nice. And then it was like, I realized that everywhere we were going to shop, there's a brewery.
Oh, God.
So we went to Out of the Barrel, and the next day we went to what's the store? Not Talbot's, but Loft.
Okay,
as in
another
Taylor?
Yeah, exactly.
And Taylor.
And
did it used to be called Ann Taylor Loft?
Yeah, now it's just kind of called Loft.
I see.
There might be an Ann Taylor Loft still, but I think Ann Taylor Loft was for like plus size women, or just slightly not your normal to larger size women.
Right.
And so I think they wanted to just make it for everyone. So they just start calling it Loft. So they get away from that idea. How dare they try
and be size inclusive?
Exactly.
Anyway.
So while they were there, I said, well, let's just go look at the Barrel House tap room.
Of course.
That's
famous last
right
one.
here. I mean, it was literally right there. So we went in and we did have a couple samples of Barrel House. Now, Barrel House is out of Paso Robles, California. I don't know if I've had Barrel House on here. But Barrel House is kind of funny because in Fresno, for some reason, everywhere I go, not everywhere I go, but almost every restaurant and bar, they have the mango IPA.
Oh, why?
I don't know.
There's a lot of mangoes in California.
It's kind of their flagship, I guess.
Okay.
But the bar I went last night, I had a mango IPA. The bar we do our show in at the Bog House, they have the mango IPA, the Barrel House mango. I mean, it's really weird. Like you go to like a Mexican restaurant here, they got Corona, and Modelo and Pacifico, and sure, Barrel House mango IPA. It's like it's so weird. Like everywhere has it, but it's a good beer, thank goodness.
So how
you can really taste the mango?
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask. Like, is it like you're eating a mango and then there's some beer next to it, or is it more like a mango touched your beer once?
No,
it's like sounds awful, but
it's like a mango. Where did the mango touch you? Show me on the beer. But it is made with mango, and it's actually a good beer. It's a fruity IPA, so it's nice. But it's strange that it's everywhere. But some good salesmen,
I guess,
their Fresno salesman's doing a great job and we have our own tap room here, the Barrel House tap room, which is very nice. They had it's a big space, and they had a lot of they're very IPA forward. They had one lager, and it was a lime lager, and that happens a lot here too. But
well,
it's California, the land of the IPA. So
the citrus makes sense too, right? California's citrus.
Yeah.
So
we did that, and then we went to a shoe store after that.
Oh
Now,
my.
what brewery
We
is near
spent
the
a
shoe
lot of
store?
You know what? That we were blanked on that, but
Oh, well.
Failure.
the next we were rewarded by the next place we were going was an actual brewery, and we were going to
Oh.
sit down and have. Of course, we had to stop at the farm stand at the college at Fresno State. They have it's an agricultural college. I don't know if you know that. So there's
I
like
see. So you wanted to pick
they
up
make
some
their-
mangoes.
Yeah, we picked up some. We did pick up some fruit and some.
Oh my
nuts
gosh.
and cheese, and they make their own wine there too, which is nice. I've had it. And then we went to the brewery where you could bring your own food in. So we had a little picnic at the
Okay.
brewery. So that was nice at Crow and Wolf Brewing, which I've mentioned.
You have, yes.
a
We
few
know
times.
them.
It's become a favorite here in town, just because I know so many people over there now. And so yeah, that was nice. And so we got around there.
Well,
But,
keeping with yeah.
please.
Oh, I said, was keeping with your theme of I love the whole idea of how many things that you can do and combine it with beer. And I've mentioned for a little while now that I've been trying to I still don't know whether I should call it picks and pints or picks and pours. Maybe just call it both. I don't know.
You can just switch back and forth.
I've been doing my best to go to all the indie movie
Picks and pint
theaters in
pours.
town. And so the movie theaters, many of them actually are serving beer, and also some of them even have bars. Some of them trying to figure out what's closest to that one. Angelica, I went to about a couple weeks ago. The movie, the screens still suck, but they've added
It's still the same
Yeah.
place.
they've added draft beers to the,
Oh.
what they've had before is I don't know, the Angelica Theater. It's in it's on Houston Street, I believe, and it's all the way that they've got it set up where they have sort of like a little
Murfreesboro.
cafe upstairs, and if you buy stuff in the cafe, you can take it downstairs. But they had draft beer up there, but they only had bottles and cans at the concession stand. They just added draft beer. So that was a nice experience, even if it's just a poorly designed movie theater, really, because it's not a matter of whether something is small. It's a matter of if the proportion of the screen to where the seats are.
What was it about? It's not how small the size, it's how you use it, something like that.
Well, listen, I was going to the
yes, we can make that into a dick joke if we want to.
I
Thank
first
you.
went to the Angelica in 1990, so it's not really an updated place, I don't think.
No, but well, the thing is, it's just like the screens are too high,
I'm old.
and the rows go way too far back. Because I went to but again, it's lovely draft beer, had a very nice beer, and it was my birthday month, so they gave me free popcorn, so that was all really nice as well. But on Memorial
that's nice.
Day,
Okay.
I went to the Nighthawk Cinema in Williamsburg.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's a nice
an
place.
example of
That's a cool place.
Yeah, and Huck, you're right about how people who have designed movie theaters more recently somehow figured out, like, here's how it can be small but really very designed so it's a great cinematic experience. This is only like 5 rows in this theater, but the screen is perfectly proportioned, so like every seat there is a great way to experience the movie. Ordered a Rockaway Black Gold Stout there. They have a really nice list of stuff there. They do the check drop at a certain point. This is really, sounds really mundane, but it's important to me. They do the check drop maybe 15 minutes before the movie starts, but you don't actually have to fill it out until the movie's over. So that was
nice.
Right.
I especially like that because even though they have a light under the table where you're supposed to be able to see the check, I couldn't read it in that light. So
Well, can you order during the film?
you can.
Okay.
So like I said, there's a light underneath the table. So if you forget what they have on the menu, you can actually look under the table at the menu, write out on a little piece of paper, put it in they have a little thing where you can there, and they will come by, pick it up. So they have a whole wordless procedure as to how they take your orders and fill your orders. So it's really just really thinking mindfully about how to merge the eating and drinking with the watching a movie thing, and it's great. And they also have a really great bar on premise as well, and it's near a lot of great places. It's a few doors down from Skinny Dennis. I think we all had a beer a while back.
We did, yeah.
And I didn't wind up going there, but I did go to the other half, Domino Park. It's
I never made it there. Yeah.
Oh my, how was that?
It's nice. I wound up getting a double IPA because I think if I'd gotten a bottle pour, I could have gotten something a little more in my wheelhouse. But I just felt like, I'll
get
have
the draft.
that.
Yeah,
I'm here in other half. Yeah. And yeah, it was a very, very nice experience. Have you had
That's sweet.
any wonderful beer drinking experiences out in the wild in your incredibly busy schedule, Beer Wonder?
No. But I
Today.
today, but in my misadventures in, because this is the time of year that I wound up at Coney Island a lot, so I spent a lot of time
Yeah.
at Coney Island Brewing, and they've got a really cool, they're doing their like Spirit of Coney Island series, which are all beers inspired by different Coney Island landmarks that are a fundraiser for like some of the support groups that keep some of the cool stuff happening in Coney Island alive. And so they've got a really great hazy IPA that's for Dino's Wonder Wheel, which is, the big iconic one that goes around everything. And so that is limited edition right now. Beautiful can art, and $1 from every beer from that goes to the Alliance for Coney Island, which is one of the major like boosters of that area. So I wanted to give them a shout out. It's a really good beer. It's like a really excellent hazy. Just
all right.
delicious, great like on the beach drink kind of situation. Juicy, a little like very orange, not quite fully orange juice, but on the way towards that. Kind of a good refresher. Good refresher and bold. I think it was like 8%. It kind of knocked my socks off a bit. So,
Excellent.
yeah,
right on.
Now,
so please.
No, please go for it, Huck.
Well, last week I don't know if I told you guys that I know that I've been a stand-up comedian in the past, but I started doing stand-up around town.
Oh,
going to open mics. Yeah.
Yes.
There is a scene here, strangely enough, and it's
in
not
the Frez.
and it's not horrible. I kind of expected, cringy, but no, it's actually pretty cool. It's actually really this particular scene anyway is rather gay.
Okay.
Good. Open, many diverse, ethnically diverse. Of course, we're mainly Mexican here
in the Frez.
In the Frez.
Okay.
Actually, this guy made a joke the other night. He said there was the survey came out, the most the place with the most Mexicans in North America was Fresno.
Huh.
And coming in second, strangely enough, Mexico.
Oh, shocking.
So that was a good joke. But I mean, it's been fun, and I go to this open mic on Tuesdays, and I like to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a beer venture.
We know you. We've met you.
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to do comedy, and I would like to do more of it. And I'm not too bad at it. And so but at the same time, it's like this great beer bar is right next door, and it's called Spoke Easy.
Ooh, not speakeasy, spoke easy, past tense.
Easy.
Gotcha.
And they have a tap list. And while I was in there, I looked at the tap list, and I was like, well, they only have about, I think, maybe 8 or 9 taps.
Huh.
But what's amazing about Spoke Easy is the can selection.
Oh.
And going to the theater for the comedy, you could buy a can at Spoke Easy, don't open it, walk around, open it inside the theater.
That's cool.
And that's very cool. So the can selection, that's where I had a Grim about a month ago. I had a Grim beer there. I put it on one of the Grams.
Mm-hmm.
And this time they had like a big selection of Trillium out of Boston.
Oh.
And those are hazies, and I recognize them. I'm just not, when I'm out on the town, a hazy is not what I'm looking for generally.
Fair.
But
it's a commitment.
And it's kind of, I don't know. I like a hazy IPA, but not in excess. So if I'm going to go in excess, I like my lagers, baby.
I know you do.
And what's great is they had a really nice lager selection there. And what's nice also about the fridge is they're sectioned by style.
I love that.
It was funny. I ran into somebody. There was a bunch of people, and there were some beer guys who knew about Trillium. So I was like, talk to them a little bit about it. And they're like, oh yeah, you got to have the Big Bird. You got to have this. And this woman says, I just go by the can style. I don't even know what it is.
I love that.
And that is kind of cool. And she got this really cool sour. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, because had like a lot of paisley colors on it. But I had 3 lagers, and the diversity of these lagers was really cool. First one I had was called Narcose. Narcose. And it's out of Brazil, of all places.
Ooh.
And it's a German style Pilsner.
Huh.
And it was amazing. It was it was really good. I mean,
look at that. And clear too.
Yeah.
It was very clear.
It was excellent. I was like,
Mhm.
this is just a really well done German style pills.
Mm.
And then I had that one, and then I had this one called Star Crystals, which was
Oh, that's a good can.
a honey lager.
Yeah,
See,
look at
Honey
that
lager.
bee, that like
and this is
crystallized
from
bee.
a local brewery called Berryessa. Like local, I mean it's in the state. It's in Winters. I think I had a Berryessa recently. It was
You did like 2 weeks ago
2
or a
weeks ago.
month
Free
ago.
kittens. Free kittens.
Yes.
Yeah. And so this is another Berryessa lager, excellent honey lager. But then the winner was the No Mames, which is from Tripping Animals out of Florida.
What?
Oh wow.
You've had Tripping Animals on the show.
Yeah, we
Captain.
have, and
Captain
yeah,
has,
and I
yes.
think you have too.
Of course,
and I
this
think
is
they
you
have a
can see
wide.
the animal. The animal is tripping. It's a Chihuahua.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the happiest Chihuahua I've ever seen.
And it's a Mexican lager, which is not my favorite style. The corn, that sweetness.
Yep.
But it was 6%.
Oh.
Whereas your Mexican lager is usually a little less.
Usually like 5.
And this
Yeah.
was like, oh, it had such good flavor, and I was like, oh my gosh, I hope they still have it next time I go over there, because that was great. So No Mames, and so I hit this lager trifecta over at the theater the other day. It was really fun.
I feel like if you're going to
There you go.
drink based on the can, I think that's a really wonderful way to find new things if
Yeah.
you're in a place that you know has a wonderful curated selection, knowing they're
Correct.
not going to have shit in the coolers, that everything they have is something they are proud for you to have, which most beer bars have.
Yeah.
And so that's a wonderful way. Like, oh, the can looked pretty, so here it is. It's like, sometimes people will even buy something based on the title of a beer. Like I heard
That's true.
someone got a beer specifically just because it would sound funny talking about it on a podcast, like Big Red Cock.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
Yeah.
not-
Well, and we all recall the glory and joy that is unicorn farts.
I had a Big Red Cock in my mouth last night. It was great.
Hey,
Well,
Yeah.
as one should most nights. Wait. Well, it is.
Did we just make
Well,
our
transition
adult
into
rating?
Pride? There we go. We have to, but also we're getting towards Pride Month, so
Maybe not if I
Sure.
pronounce it cook, like coq au vin. But
it
but
means
yeah, I mean,
rooster, guys.
well,
why would you bring wine into this? Why would you bring wine into this?
That's a very good question.
It's always a good question.
But yeah, I actually met the brewer of that one, and he explained why they've transitioned from Big Red Cock to Big Red.
Why? Well, you want to enlighten us now that it's hit the wires in that other.
I mean,
podcast.
if you want to hear him tell the story, you can listen on that podcast because he explains it fully. But the short version of it basically is they started it. They thought it was kind of a fun thing to do just for their tap room, and then it really took off. So once it got really popular, they had to put it in cans, and it became their signature beer. And then around 2020, they said, maybe we need to phase this out. But that there's such a clamor for it, and they all the time at home made them very reflective. It was like, okay, we need to bring this beer back, but maybe not lean into the innuendo. So that's why the cock is silent now.
Oh.
Well, it's visual there. It's Big Red. Here's the funny thing is, I guess they still had some of the old labels left, because the whole discussion on the podcast was like half of the people, because this is a live thing where we have an audience with chat and everything. And half of the people had gotten Big Red, and half of them had gotten the Big Red Cock. And mine was the Big Red Cock, right here. Very,
Oh, there you go.
And it's basically the exact same thing, except the word cock is off, and the picture of the cock is still there. So it's still a Big Red Cock. It's implied. It's like my friend who wrote this TV show about a Jewish woman who runs off to a Renaissance festival, and she called it American Princess, and she said the Jewish is silent.
Got it.
Same kind of thing.
Well,
very good.
Good to have those inside jokes sometimes.
Yes. But yeah, I did want to mention, because we recently had Wheat Lightning, and not long before that we had Nutpool on there. Say what you will.
Say what you will.
And we mentioned about how they were doing this this show, that their YouTube show that they they revamped to be for a live show. And
Mhm.
Belgian Babe and I went there a couple days ago.
Oh, nice.
It's too early to find much beer before the show, but we saw that. First of all, it's a wonderful show. They did a great job
Oh, good.
producing it, and it's even has a little bit there about white savior complex, which I think is a
Oh,
wonderful theme to put in the show. Uh,
cool. Well,
but
it
Oh,
is
really?
it is action packed. I will say that I've read some early drafts of it, and like they are getting a lot covered in a very short period of time.
They
No
are. It's
kidding.
like 50 minutes long, I think, and they have different guest star every week, and they've been extended throughout the month of June. So, if you want to go there, if especially if you have, interestingly enough, there were definitely some children there, but I think there might have even been more adults in there at this
Oh,
particular one.
nice.
But also as far as how this fits into the Beer Venger verse,
Aha.
practically across the street is
Oh,
the East Village Bronx Brewery outpost
yes, 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 yes,
with the bastard burgers.
yes.
So
Swedish burgers.
we hung out with Wheat Lightning and Nutpool there across the street. Had lunch there together. Now, Beer Wonder, you and I went there last July,
We did,
and
yes.
it's still pretty much the same layout, except everything is table service now.
Oh, so you don't
So
go downstairs to get the
you
burgers.
don't have to go downstairs to get the burgers; it's delivered to your table.
Oh,
So that's a nice little upgrade there. But had some really nice beers. They had a dry Irish stout there that was like this is the great thing about it. I think they brew a lot of stuff there. So compared to say their Hudson Yards location,
hmm.
they'll get a lot of like one-offs that maybe you can only get in the room there. So went
Well,
there,
that's kind of
so
cool.
hung out there, had a few beers. And then Belgian Babe and I had one last one at the Proletariat because
Oh, the
Oh,
proletariat.
it was too early after the show. My initial thought was that we were going to go to the Proletariat, but they don't open until 3 on Sundays and the show's at noon. But they said like, okay, well, Bastard Burger Bronx Brewery is right there, so that's lunch. That's where we're going for lunch,
Fair.
and had a really wonderful time. So yeah,
well, this IPA was excellent right up
Is
to the
yeah.
gone.
last sip. Right up to the last sip. So
Does
I'm very happy about that.
does that mean
Excellent.
that there needs to be another beer?
We got time for a second pour in the
I think we
show. Here
do.
we
Yeah,
are.
yeah,
I think we
absolutely.
definitely do. When it's
Okay,
just
well,
us, there's usually time.
I've got a beer, and this is a bit of an old. I want to bring different breweries into it, right? So I got a beer that's a bit on the older side. This goes back to 1643.
Oh wow, that is
Uh,
before America was America.
yeah, it's a pretty old brewery. It's called Paulaner.
Paulaner, from München.
Have you heard of it? Paulaner. And
Paulaner.
this
They're
is
one of the
specific
official Oktoberfest breweries.
on the official Oktoberfest breweries. This is Paulaner's München Lager. München means Munich.
Mm.
And it's interesting because I was just looking it up. This is the München Lager, but in Germany they call it München. They call it München Hell.
Oh, it's like so. It's a Helles. That's what they're
Helles.
saying. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, this is I've been seeing this in my beer store recently, and I've been
Uh-huh.
like, how is that? Because
And now
I
you'll
was like,
find out.
they're not dated, so I don't know how old they are, but this was restocked. So I'm like, okay, well, if it's been restocked, maybe
Well,
it's fresh.
that's
Let's
telling.
take a look. I got my treehouse glass here
Okay.
and my Pilsner glass for a good Munchen lager.
Ooh. Oh, I'm loving the sound of the pour. We're getting good sound effects on
Oh
this
yeah,
one, but
Maybe
that
on
it's pretty. It's like that straw
the
colored,
foam on that, but
it
yeah.
is. I believe they call that clear as fuck.
clear as
Going
fuck.
back
yes.
to our trip last year
Yeah,
to Munchen, which I think we probably had a Paulaner at some point, but
I'm sure we
It
did.
seems likely,
I know-
yeah.
I had it planned to go to their brewery, but they were closed the night that it was the night we arrived in Munchen. That I said, okay, we can go to Paulaner, and they're like, no, we're closed Mondays. Like, "Arrgh."
But here's
So we
here's the
never made it there.
question. We did what was it? We went to that big Planet Hollywood place briefly, and then we
Oh
went to
yeah.
some place across the street from that. Was that a Paulaner? Or was that something else?
No, that was Augustiner.
Augustiner, okay. Thank you for
And the main
correcting
one
me.
you're talking about is the Hofbrauhaus.
Yes, the Hofbrauhaus.
Yes,
Planet Hollywood.
yes.
And poor cider
Well,
girl's like, I want to go in there. Like, no, we're not going in there.
I
We
have to
got a
credit.
photo.
There's
I-
good seats right here outside with better beer. Like,
I have to credit our guide Kat for comparing it. Like me going in here is like if I was visiting you in New York and you said let's go to Planet Hollywood.
right.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice. It's got a nice crisp. Crisp is the first word that comes to mind.
Oh, okay.
It's not. It doesn't have that sourness you sometimes get like with a Heineken or whatever. So this is nice. This is very nice. And I think it's built specifically to be imported. So yeah, I out of White Plains. So this came through New York to get to me.
Okay.
Well, very good.
It's traveled 1634. Excuse me, I was off on my years there.
We look to you for the specifics here, Kat.
I mean, that's like no. I was going to say older than Shakespeare, but no, Shakespeare's a bit older than that. There you go.
But now you got me in the mood for a second, Poor.
My goodness.
And as I mentioned last episode, after Stoutapalooza, I have a few beers left over in my cellar. So I'm going to take a little trip to the Captain's Cellar.
A very special
Going
place.
to the Captain's Cellar, yeah. Come high water or hella, yeah. Made with stouts and porters, made with bricks and mortars. Going to the Captain's Cellar. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is.
I wrote up the lyrics a little there, but
I did
It was
mention.
good.
we'll
I
get
did
that
mention
in the hookups later.
we will. And just get. Oh man, I think we had a few from the last episode, but I forgot to write them down. But
I know. It's okay.
But if we can think of any of them, we'll. Cause if we got anyway. So this one, and I mentioned before that it. We just had Memorial Day. This is our first episode released in the month of June, so it's summer, and a lot of people don't think that summer is a good season for stout. Of course, I firmly believe it's always stout season. But in honor of a summer stout drinking, I have this wonderful beer from. Let's see from Wise Man Brewing in North Carolina.
Okay.
And this is a tropical stout called Satisfy My Soul. Which I believe if I'm
my soul.
There you go. It's a Bob Marley song. They've got a little lyric here on the front of it. And it's a 7.2% stout. So let's see what we got here.
This sounds delightful.
All right.
Wise Man Brewing?
Wise Man Brewing, yes. Not Weissman, but Wise Man.
No.
There we go.
Oh my.
Pretty
Beautiful.
Dark.
Very dark. And I dare say summery.
Yes.
Oh, that's delightful. Tropical stout.
Yes. Now, remind us what makes it tropical. Is that this is because it's a little bit sweeter?
So here's the thing: is that in our other job, they explained all the whole tropical stout thing to us, and I don't know. I would actually have to look at the brewery's website to see how they define it as it. But as it was originally explained to us, tropical stout is a stout that is meant to mimic other styles of stout, but using ingredients found in the tropics.
Right. They would use more corn or sorghum.
Sorghum, perhaps, yes.
Out of the Caribbean or even parts of Africa, they would making types of tropical stouts.
How this one is made, I'm not entirely sure, but it's delicious.
What's the name of it again?
The name of the brewery is Wise Man Brewing, and it's Satisfy My Soul.
Oh, Satisfy My Soul. How can I forget that?
It's what happens in the summer. I mean, wait.
But yeah, with it's like satisfy my soul, every little action, satisfy my soul. There's a reaction.
Oh
satisfy my soul, Bob Marley. But yeah, it's really good. I almost sense a little bit of like mild fruitiness in there as well, so that might add to the tropical notion of it. But it's a really solid stout.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm
And
looking it up now. It's a less attenuative.
Yes.
English ale yeast allows the beer to keep a hint of residual sweetness
Huh.
that expresses bready, chocolatey, and lightly roasted notes from the complex malt bill.
Yeah, I tasted all those things.
All of it.
Naturally.
All there.
Absolutely. Yeah, no,
Along with the white gummy bear, right?
Yeah,
And
no
they
white
also
gummy
make a
bears in
toast-
this one, but
You also make a toasted marshmallow version.
That's the white. That's where the white gummy bears come in.
yeah, I'm glad I got this one. The toasted marshmallow is fine, but I don't need the some more version of this. I mean, if they're saying toasted marshmallow, they're trying to do some more. I mean, we've had some very good some more stouts. Nothing against some more stouts.
Yes.
There's just so many of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is as
to-
we were saying. Yeah,
I was gonna say like marshmallow and lactose. Those are two ingredients where I'm kind of like, I'll try it, but
I feel that way more about marshmallow than lactose.
yeah,
Mostly because the
I'm with you.
marshmallow is up there with more sugar and the more overly sweet taste.
Sugar.
Yeah, it's like it's mostly if I don't mind pastry-ish things, but I like more of like the dark chocolate kind of deal.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, not that I haven't had good marshmallow. Actually, I remember a night we went to Evil Twin with we were with the Queen of what am I saying? Not Queen of
Queen of Flagons,
cousin.
Mother of Flagons.
Mother of Flagons. Excuse me.
There you go.
We were with Mother of Flagons and her friends. Remember that night?
Yeah, I did. That was
It's a good
fun.
night. Mhm.
And we all tried the marshmallow IPA, and it was pretty good. But it was like, I mean, it was really sweet, and it was a hazy IPA, like I don't know, 8% or something or higher. It was like, okay, well, that is good, but
We've had a lot of Evil Twin beers on this show, and I still go back and I still enjoy them. But if there's one fault they have is that they've leaned over the years, they've leaned too much into the sweet.
the
Very true.
pastry, yeah, they do. They do tend to go there.
They pasteurize for sure.
I want a beer that tastes like beer.
Yeah.
but also if it has some.
That was a throwback. That was a throwback to our
It
old
was.
episodes.
Yes, and who was it? What was the brewery that was saying that? It was some like iconic brewery, not iconic. That's a different one. They changed their name anyway.
Was it Threes? No, it wasn't Threes.
No. In Vermont,
It was Vermont. Yeah.
Not Hermit Thrush.
Hill Farmstead.
Hill Farmstead, right?
Oh, right.
Sean Hill.
Yeah. But speaking of things happening in the brewery world, Captain, you had some breaking news in brewery consolidation that you were going to share with us.
Yeah, well, because it was a really nice brewery. I can't remember if I've had any of them on the show. Like I said, at some point we just need to have access to the spreadsheet. Every time I'm about to record a show, I start looking it up. I need to update it, and then I have to reboot. Anyway, but Flying Dog, which I think is a really remarkable brewery, incredible can art too, with all those Ralph Steadman, from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. But they've been in Maryland for many years. But apparently it's getting harder for them to do what they need to do with that location. Now, the initial rumor was that they were just shutting everything down and moving to upstate New York. Apparently, they're still keeping their tap room open in Maryland, but they're moving their entire production to upstate New York with a company called FX Matt, which is primarily their main thing. I guess they have a lot of guest brewers there and such, but mainly they do Saranac.
Oh, okay. Right. Sure.
And Flying Dog is
Saranac's
moving.
Been around a long time.
They have. And now Flying Dog will be under that umbrella, which is nice because rather than selling to one of the big conglomerates, they're combining with another craft brew powerhouse, and I think it should probably be a great relationship.
Yeah, that's good. It's to keep them alive. I mean, I used to really enjoy some Flying Dog beers, for sure.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Some of my favorite ones I haven't seen in a while, but they had some really nice. Of course, they always, people are concerned about having a beer called Big Red Cock, but they had a beer called Raging Bitch.
Raging Bitch, yeah.
Oh my god, yes, I remember that. Yes,
that didn't age well.
Well, they're fitting with their. I mean, it's all fitting
the
with the dog thing.
Well, the beer is very good.
Beer is great.
It's a Belgian IPA.
Yeah.
Belgian style IPA. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to. In fact, I once they're settled, I might take a trip up there because that sounds like a wonderful weekend getaway to go up to Saranac and Flying Dog. And of course, that's what summer. A lot of people do weekend getaways in the summer, and leaning into the whole summer thing, June thing. Of course, a lot of fun things coming up in June. You mentioned before about the various anniversaries that are happening. Your beer, that first beer you had, is their 11th or 12th anniversary. We had Single Cut having their 10th anniversary last year. Big Alice is celebrating their 10th anniversary.
Oh yeah! Oh my
I-
gosh, 10 years? That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go to the festivities, but if you're listening to this, the day this episode gets released, it happened yesterday. So make sure you go check that out.
That's pretty cool.
But other anniversaries, and I don't have the fucking gear for this.
The fucking gear. That's the good stuff.
Callers can let us know. But I've never missed a Beer and Cheese Collective anniversary party. They keep shifting around now and again. Yeah, so you can get so buy your plane tickets now, Huck. You've got access to my guest room. 24th, I think it is.
24th, thank you.
I know it's a Saturday.
Yes,
August?
No, 24th of June.
June.
It's happening in like 3 weeks, and I'm really excited to see what they have there. One of the things
I don't have anything else going on, so
you should come.
Well, one of the things that they're doing, which I think is really exciting that they've never done before, is they a couple weeks ago the entire staff had the day off. So Beer and Cheese Collective was closed on a Monday, specifically so they could go to Strong Rope Brewery in Red Hook.
Oh my
brew
god!
A beer to serve at the anniversary party.
Oh,
fun.
Love that! Yeah. Love that.
I want to say it's an apricot saison, but I'm not positive. Apricot something, but I think it's a saison.
That's so cool.
And so the beer that they brewed that day will be one of the beers on tap for the anniversary party. And Beer Wonder, I know you said you're going to be able to be there for that. So
yes, that's why I'm glad we confirmed the dates, because
I will let you know when the tickets go on sale. So we'll definitely be there for that. And another thing about June, of course, it's Pride Month. A lot of breweries are doing special Pride Month things. I know that Beer Witch, not a brewery, but in Brooklyn they're doing a thing. I know. Fucking. That fucking is just, that's what I'm going to say when I can't think of what I'm saying. Fuck.
We have to get the explicit rating. We're not doing as well as we have been.
Yeah, my dude.
Yeah.
All right, here. Let's. That was a good impression of this.
Oh fuck yeah, my dude.
Or no,
no.
I mean this one.
Oh fuck yeah, my dude.
There it is.
There we go.
That one's very sexual.
It is. But yeah. What did Iconic change their name to?
Focal Point. Yeah,
Focal Point. Yes.
Yeah, because they're hosting the New York City Brewers Guild Pride release event.
Yes, right. And it's
on the 18th. It's a pay-as-you-go wristband. $25 gets you first 2 pours, and then you can buy samples from everybody. But it looks like a good time.
Pay-as-you-go, but I think you still have to buy tickets.
Yes,
and the ticket gets you or might even be less than that, but the tickets get you a certain number of pours, but you can buy additional pours once you're there.
Exactly.
So that should be fun too. And if anyone out there knows about any other great Pride events coming up in New York or Fresno or anywhere, just give us a call. And we don't have a number, but just let us know.
So we need to do a call-in episode. Is clearly what we've established out of this,
or at least fake one.
Yeah. We can pay people for this. Huck has connections.
I can put the phone ring on the soundboard, and we can
actors,
and we can all do voices.
That's true. But here's the thing: you already have the ringtone set up. In fact, we could simulate the ringtone right now.
You mean your ringtone or Huck's ringtone?
Well, or there's a number of options for ringtones, but I was thinking specifically of.
Oh fuck yeah, my dude!
I mean, there's that one.
Yeah. Are you talking about the Belgian Babes ringtone?
That was specifically the one I was thinking of, because
not making here.
Exactly, because that's appeared a few times impromptu on the Beercast for our eagle-eared listeners.
That's true.
Yeah. Actually, I had a couple of beers I was going to do. Gang. I'm usually working on my French. Going to do today that were going to be nutmeg related, but I switched gears at the last minute and went for the Smug City, which I'm glad I did.
Well, thank you, Beer Wonder, for shoehorning that in regardless, so I could press that button.
By the way, I'm looking at the history of Saranac.
Oh my God.
And they do technically go back to the 80s, but also technically they go back to 1888.
Is that
That's
Saranac
a
or
lot
is
of
that the
eights.
facility? The place where it's made, I think, goes back to 1888.
Correct.
Yeah.
1878, this guy, Francis Xavier Matt, comes to the United States from
That's
Germany.
FX Matt. That's the guy who that's still under that name. Yeah.
FX Matt. And FX Matt is like the and it's Utica, New York.
Yes.
For those of you who are New Yorkers.
In case upstate was too general.
And then when Prohibition happens, that's when like kills all the local breweries.
Right.
But they survived by serving Utica Club soft drinks. And I think I've heard of Utica Club, like sodas and like seltzers and stuff.
I have not.
Utica Club. I just remember that. I don't know from being the Utica Club. They made them survive. When it was repealed, they called them the West End Brewing Company.
Okay.
And then FX Matt's son Walter joined, and they kept making beer in the 50s and the 60s and it was called Matt's. Matt's Premium was introduced in 1966, and they really were more known for their the sodas, the Utica Club.
Okay.
I think Pete's Wicked Ale brewed there for a while too. I think.
Oh, okay.
That tracks.
I read that. Yeah.
In 1976, the Matt's Beer Ball wins the hearts of many. You guys remember the beer ball?
I do remember the beer ball, actually. Yes.
Oh my Lord, the beer ball is the silliest thing. I mean, the kids out there might not know
for the
about
kids.
beer ball.
Why don't you explain what the beer ball was?
Well, it's a plastic keg, essentially, a transparent ball.
Yeah. Yep.
That you put a tap on the top of, and you just drink it like a keg. But it's a beer ball.
Yeah.
And it's a bizarre thing. I don't know. We should look up the history of that. Who came up with that craziness? FX Matt II is promoted to the president of the Matt Brewing Company in 1980.
Okay.
And Saranac 1888. That's the name of the beer. Saranac 1888 is introduced and named after the upcoming 100th anniversary of the Saranac Railroad line that connected Utica to the Adirondacks.
There you go.
That's where Saranac, they have a long history. So technically 1985 is Utica. That's when I graduated high school. So that's a long time ago.
So we have now become both an explicit podcast and an educational podcast.
And
I think we've always been educational. Yes.
That's true.
We are always here for education. We want people to know about beer. I don't know where I'm going now.
No, you're absolutely right. It's like that's why we have a different beer every. So we except for that one time, never repeat a beer.
We don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. It was
we don't talk about that beer. No.
Because we want to educate about every possible beer that we can, even though we can't possibly educate you about every beer that exists because there's only.
But if we could.
Yeah.
I feel like we would be up to the task, gentlemen.
We would.
I don't even know what we were referencing there, but
I think it all comes down to we're talking about
to me off air.
I think we're talking about all these breweries that have been around for about a decade, or centuries. But mostly we're talking about craft beers that have been around for around a decade or so. And interesting about how different the craft beer scene was a decade ago. And even a decade ago, I don't know if we could have been able to do this in this way. I don't know if we had as many options as we do now. So,
I know that a decade ago you were saying to Beer Wonder and I, we should do a podcast.
No, that's
Beer Wonder and I were like, yeah, for sure.
I think the person who started that was her name was Ashley. She used to work with you guys at the zoo.
Yes.
Ashley Wussier.
Wussier.
And we were all at the Pony Bar, and you and I were just spewing bullshit about beer, and she was just fascinated listening to us talk, and she said this should be a show.
Oh, no kidding.
That's the first version of it I remember.
Shout out to Ashley for starting the Beer Vengers.
Yeah. Ashley, she's in the UK right now. So Ashley, if you're listening, so if we get a download from the UK, we know we've done this correctly.
Yes.
We got to have her on the show now.
Clearly, we need to give her a Beer Venger name
because
she's an actress.
But also she was definitely someone we were trying to convert because
that is true.
because I remember her saying, "I thought beer tasted like feet until now." I remember that was.
I remember we
almost
all
the
went
right
to the
quote,
Brooklyn
yeah.
Brewery.
Yes, we did. But before that, it was like after we saw Beer Wonder and Ashley and honestly Abe, and
Oh God.
we all went to the Pony Bar afterwards, and that was her,
Oh,
her first trip.
that nightmare.
So, like,
That
Honestly,
nightmare.
Abe was a show, a play.
Oh
yeah.
God.
You guys don't know what a play is. It's a
Oh my
theatrical
God.
thing.
Oh God.
And our good friend Beer Wonder was in the show with our good friend Ashley Owusu.
As the only adult male one of two adult males in the show. Like
And-
everybody else played a kid, and there was like Abe's
played all the
dad, and then I
adults.
played all the other adults, and I was like only like I was younger than many of the people in the cast, but I didn't have hair. It was a whole
Well, I
thing.
will say you were very good.
Well, it's very
And
kind.
as was Ashley.
I was drinking away my feelings after every performance, and so I was glad to have done that with you all.
I remember you saying that you weren't happy with doing the show, and I get it. It was a weird show, but at the same time, wonderful performances, and I was pleased to have been able to witness it.
Well, thank you. I'm glad we all shared this experience. And as you heard from my, oh God, I'm going to trigger it. I'm afraid if I do this, as you heard from my origin story.
Go back to episode 3.
Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to do that.
No, that was fun.
Yeah, but if you listen back there, you'll hear that was how I was first introduced to craft beer at the Pony Bar with our dear friend Ashley Owusu.
Now, for
we all
those
went
of
to
you,
Brooklyn Brewery together, and
Yeah.
I have a great picture of her from that day of drinking a beer. But
yes, I think I have that picture somewhere too. A version, or I have a different picture. I have a picture.
Lovely young woman.
So this is episode 79, and for those of you longtime listeners of the podcast, you're aware that this is the part of the podcast where we're about to wrap things up, and we talk for another 15 minutes. So thank you for sticking around. We love you. You're part of why we're still doing this.
Now we're good.
Yeah.
Are you saying that Huck is grabbing his uke, which means I'm supposed to cue Captain about where you can find us on the social medias?
Let's talk about where you can find us on the socials.
Well, yeah, you can find us basically at the Beer Vendors is the best place to start, because then you can find our Facebook, our TikTok, our Instagram or Twitter. But if you also just want to just see all the pictures of all the beers we have, you can go to thebeervengers.com. You can email us at thebeervengers@gmail.com. Am I leaving anything out, Beer Wonder? Is that pretty much all of the best? And
no.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, get on the email list, because the captain does send out a delightful recap with pour pics every single week.
I do.
And it's
I
delightful.
do. It's always there. And thank all of you for listening. Thank you, Beer Wonder. Thank you, Huck. This has been a wonderful hour plus hanging out with you guys, and we'll be back again in a couple of weeks, and with lots of exciting guests and more beers. And thanks for hanging out with us. All right, Huck, I guess it's time to play us out. Thanks, everyone.
With a beer ventures, beer ventures, beer ventures. With the beer ventures.